Arcs are an absolutely integral structure of good storytelling. They are the individual journeys we undertake with the characters, marked by an introduction, complications, and in the case of One Piece, a climactic conclusion. Of course, not all arcs are created equally, and some are certainly better than others for a wide variety of reasons. So the criteria for this particular list is as follows. We are only examining arcs as they appear in the manga. How these arcs are portrayed in the anime is an entirely different matter and may warrant its own video one day. Secondly, the arcs will be examined both in context of reading them as weekly chapters, as well as by reading them as bulk stories. And that's really it. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Welcome to the top 5 best arcs in One Piece. Number 5. Zou. For those of you who were reading weekly at the time, you'll probably remember that Zou was a much needed injection of new visual stimulus into the series, after quite literally spending 2 years on Dressrosa. And Zou really was everything we needed at the time. It was a fascinating concept, an island on top of an elephant. I mean, how cool is that? It introduced us to a whole new world of amazing characters in regards to the Minks. It reunited the Straw Hat Pirates, well, most of them. And, most importantly, it was mercifully short. A mini-arc, really. On top of that, it also told the epic story of the battle between the Minks and Jack, one of Kaido's top commanders. Oh, and of course, did I mention the Road Poneglyph? The revelation of the existence of these particular stones and their purpose is a milestone event of the series. This teeny tiny arc just accomplished so much in such little time, and if it weren't for the promise of visiting Whole Cake Island immediately afterwards, I would have been very disappointed to leave this amazing island. Number 4. Arlong. In my opinion, the Arlong arc is where One Piece stepped up its game as a major manga series and really yelled out to the world, hey, pay attention to me. This arc had the very tricky job of being the climax of the entire East Blue saga, and really held the full weight of the entire series so far. When looking back on the arc, it's easy to see it as Nami's story, and the bulk of it certainly is, but this arc also acts as an individual climax for each of the Straw Hats. Zoro faces his first opponent after renewing his vow to become the world's greatest swordsman. Usopp finally summons the bravery to take part in his first proper one-on-one fight. Sanji has his first official fight as a Straw Hat, Nami faces her lifelong demons, and Luffy steps up to fight for his final East Blue crew member. In fact, I'd argue that the Straw Hats had not even truly formed until the end of the Arlong arc. This arc forged the basic makeup of the crew, while also providing one of the most heartbreaking flashbacks, as well as one of the best villains in the series. The Arlong arc had it all, and provided a really tough benchmark for the rest of the series to live up to. But thankfully, several arcs in One Piece would go on to do just that. Number 3. Alabasta. So if the Arlong arc was where One Piece became a truly great series, then Alabasta would be where One Piece solidified itself as one of the best manga series of all time. This arc had been brewing ever since the Straw Hats had entered the Grand Line and encountered Princess Vivi. Their opponent? Sir Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea with a fearsome force of Baroque Works agents. This guy was the first real challenge Luffy faced in the series, beating the Straw Hat captain twice before finally being overcome himself. Each of the other Straw Hats also had fantastic battles that pushed them to their very limits. The tension of this arc was higher than any before it, and significantly more was at stake to lose, that being the entire kingdom of Alabasta. But by the skin of their teeth, the Straw Hats and Vivi managed to save the day and cause a worldwide stir with the defeat of Sir Crocodile. And to top it all off, the arc ended with one of the most heartfelt moments in the series as Vivi tearfully declined to join the Straw Hat Pirates, resulting in the iconic silent goodbye. Alabasta is One Piece at its best, and after having read or watched it, I think it's really difficult to believe that the series can get even better from here. However, it was indeed possible. Number 2. Enies Lobby. This was another huge milestone in the series, as the Straw Hats launched a full-scale invasion of a highly secure world government facility, in the process declaring war on the world government itself. And why? Well, this time they weren't trying to save a kingdom or help an acquaintance. This was all done for one woman, Nico Robin. Now, Enies Lobby came after the Water 7 arc, a very dark period in One Piece, and it had the job of making all the drama that preceded it pay off, and it absolutely delivered on that. The arc is full of iconic moments at every turn, from the Straw Hats lined up on the courthouse, to Robin's dramatic I want to live, and even the advent of both Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. Not to mention Ajira, Diable Jumper, Monster Chopper, the Buster Call, and Luffy's amazing Jet Gatling Gun finishing move against Rob Lucci. Speaking of villains, I love everything about CP9. They felt incredibly powerful and intimidating, and at the time they even left me wondering how it would even be possible for the Straw Hats to overcome them. They were just a fantastic collective of villainy. And watching the Straw Hats cause untold amounts of damage is one of the most satisfying things about One Piece for me. So given that this arc ended with the destruction of an entire island, it's probably no surprise that I'd rank it so high. Still, there is an arc that outclasses Enies Lobby, as well as every other arc in One Piece to date. Number 1. Marineford. I really don't think this should come as a surprise to anybody, because this arc represents the single most epic point of One Piece to date. Serving as the final hurrah to the pre-New World era, Marineford gathers the biggest names in the One Piece world and pits them against each other in an almost fan-fiction-like manner, except extremely well written. But seriously, there are moments in this arc where you legitimately have matchups like Sir Crocodile vs Mihawk, or Gecko Moria vs Jinbei, and hell, even Luffy versus all 3 admirals. Although the highlight of this arc is undoubtedly Whitebeard, aka the strongest man in the world. His strength is just off the charts, and he gives us a masterclass of top-tier power in the One Piece world. Of course, Marineford is also responsible for what I believe to be the biggest twist in One Piece, the death of Port Gasti Ace. This was an absolutely massive event, and something longtime One Piece fans had written off as an impossibility, and this particular moment both shattered our expectations, as well as practically gave birth to one of the most hated antagonists in all of the series, Sakazuki. And speaking of important world figures of the present, let's just list off some more, shall we? Sengoku, Garp, Doflamingo, Boa Hancock, Bartholomew Kuma, Emporio Ivankov, Blackbeard, all of the Whitebeard commanders, and the less important but well-known One Piece characters, Buggy, Das Bones, Galdino, Kobe, Smoker, Tashigi, and Hyena. And I've probably missed a whole ton of characters as well. It was a huge clash of personalities that had been built up in the series so far. And then, just to cap everything off, Shanks appears to put an end to the war with a single sentence. I just don't even. In my mind, there is no arc that even comes close to Marineford. Every single chapter is a consistent treasure trove of characters, drama, and action, and all of it only featured the presence of a mere single straw hat, Luffy. This arc played beautifully on the core strength of One Piece, which is its character and world development. Without such meticulous and rich world building, this arc simply wouldn't be possible, which is why you never really see anything like it in other series. So good on you, Marineford. Well done on being the #1 arc in all of One Piece to date. And that about does it for the top 5 best arcs in One Piece. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to like, favorite, or subscribe, and please do comment with your top 5 best arcs in the series. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.